Most CEOs are chasing work-life balance. Yet, balance is not the real goal, because balance assumes everything deserves equal attention. And as a CEO, that's simply not true. Hello there and welcome back. Recently I spoke to a CEO who, by most standards, was doing very well. Strong business, great team, growing opportunities, yet he said something many leaders quietly feel. And he said,
Francois, I feel like I'm constantly juggling everything, and no matter what I do, something always feels off.
You see, work demands attention. Family deserves presence, and that's a for sure thing. Don't get that off a whack. Personal time feels squeezed, and that's almost normal. So he tried to balance it all. Yet, the more he tried to balance everything, the more fragmented he felt. Here's what thoughtful leaders eventually discover. Work-life harmony is not about balance. It's about identity and priorities, because balance spread your energy evenly. Yet leadership requires intentional focus. And focus comes from knowing who you are as a leader and as a person. When identity is unclear, everything feels equally urgent. When identity is clear on the other side, priorities become obvious. This is where the real shift happens. Instead of asking,
how do I balance everything?
the CEO begins asking,
who am I choosing to be in this season?
because identity drives priorities, and priorities drive decision. It becomes much more simple. This is where I often guide leaders through the C.U.R.R.E, my process, trademarked. Not to manage time, yet to align identity with how they lead and live. First, the leader becomes the Chief Expansion Officer, clarifying what truly matters right now. Not everything. The few things that deserve full attention right now. Then comes the Chief Excavation Officer, because underneath the struggle for balance, there's often hidden patterns. The belief that everything is equally important, or the pressure to meet every expectation, or even the habit of overcommitting. That's a burnout sign right there. These need to be uncovered. Next, there's the Chief Elimination Officer, because harmony requires elimination. Not everything belongs on your calendar. Not every request deserves your time, and not every opportunity aligns with your identity. Then the CEO becomes the Chief Energy Officer, because working in harmony is not about time. It's about energy, where you show up fully, where you are present, where your attention truly is. And then finally, the leader becomes the Chief Excellence Officer, where priorities become consistent behavior. I'll repeat this. When your priorities become consistent behaviors, you are in the zone. Not something you decide once. It's something you live daily. When these 5 identities align, the CEO becomes the Chief Execution Officer, a leader who no longer tries to balance everything, yet executes based on clear priorities. And here's what changes. Decisions become easier. Guilt begins to fade. Presence becomes stronger, because the leader is no longer reacting. They are choosing. So here's a pro tip. If you feel stretched between work and life, don't ask, how do I balance this? Rather ask,
what truly deserves my focus right now, based on who I choose to be?
That question will change everything. The challenge is this. Most leaders try to recognize their schedule and reorganize them without redefining their identity. And without identity and clarity, priorities simply remain unclear, which means the tension never fully disappears. This is why many CEOs value having a place where they can step back and reflect, and then clarify what truly matters in this season of their leadership life. And here's your integration assignment. Complete this sentence. The leader and person I choose to be right now is, and then let it flow. Once you've had that written down, then ask, what would this version of me prioritize and what would they release? Clarity begins right after this exercise. Try it. Work-life harmony is not about doing everything well. It's about doing the right things with full presence. And that only happens when identity is clear. Because when identity is clear, priorities align. And when priorities align, life and leadership begins to feel much lighter. Great CEOs come to me to sharpen their thinking in private so they can execute with precision in public. I promise progress. If this resonates with you, you know where to find me. Make it a great day.